is the appointment of Chief Communications Officer, Ursula Matten.
Councilman Spinoza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Personnel Committee met this morning and chose to send this downstairs with no recommendation so the full council could discuss, and I so move.
Thank you very much. That's been moved by Councilman Spinoza. It's been seconded by Councilman Morgan, and we have Councilman Ford in the queue. Councilman Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Strickland for addressing what I was going to have half of my questions about concerning the salary for the Director of Fire. And he's also addressed some of the changes from the former, let's make sure I got the position right, the communications officer prior to the communications officer's duties now. And I do appreciate you putting that in place. I do also appreciate one other thing, but I do have a challenge in articulating it, and we've already had this conversation upstairs, and I appreciate you inviting me up there to discuss this. I appreciate you discussing while you're putting your cabinet together. You mentioned, and I know Ryan Poe had this in his commercial appeal article, about $1 million in savings, $367,000 of that being spent for a net savings of $633,000. But that number is only realized when you look at an entire fiscal year. Ladies and gentlemen, the fiscal year is halfway over, so it can be justified that the realized savings is not the $1 million that was in the commercial appeal. It's not the $633,000 that you see unless it was an entire year. But in real dollars, because the people that are not here anymore, they've been paid. So those salaries are gone. It could be argued that it's really only a $316,000 savings overall. I do appreciate Mayor Strickland stating that he would like the Director of Fire's salary to be $145,000. I appreciate you looking into that because I was actually going to make that motion. But I still have concerns that we still have disparities, not just at the top with those directors that are responsible for their respective services, but we still have disparities as a whole from the employee that makes the lowest salary in the city of Memphis all the way to the highest. And I sincerely hope that we can work together to alleviate those disparities. Just to illustrate some disparities as far as police and fire directors, I do have one question before I give this information, and if the mayor can come up real quick, it's just one simple question. In our packet, we got salary comparisons from the chief operating officer all the way down. And there's one line that you have where it said % current salary above / below market average. You have what the market rate is for every position except this one right here for the chief communications officer. Is there a particular reason?
No. Can I see what you're looking at?
This sheet right here is 2 pages. And for the chief communications officer, there is no data on the % current salary above or below the market average.
I think that is, I know it's because the report that was done did not include communications.
Okay, thank you.
Now, why, I don't know.
Okay. Just to give the audience who's listening and watching just some ideas of what other cities are doing, and a couple of these cities, they're paying their director of fire and they're paying their director of police. I only saw one city where they actually had a chief communications officer, and that was New Orleans at a $131,000 salary. But they were paying their police director $180,000 and their fire director $154,000, and their mayor was making less than all three of them. Just to give you another idea, down the road, Nashville, their police director makes $177,500. Chattanooga, $142,500 for police. Fort Worth, Texas, both police and fire directors made $218,000 a year. Baltimore, police director, $235,000, fire, $206,000. I also looked for this position, and as I said, out of the cities that I looked, New Orleans, Nashville, Chattanooga, Indianapolis, and I have all the data right here, Milwaukee, Baltimore, and Fort Worth, there was only one city where I saw the chief communications officer defined in a salary. If it was up to me, and I only need 60 more seconds. If it was up to me, the director of police and the director of fire would be making about $170,000, $180,000 minimum. Because we need to make sure that we have the individuals that are responsible for 650,000 citizens paid well. And if I was just an individual, like at this community meeting that I went to yesterday, and people were asking me about this, that, and the other, and their question to me was, well, with the salary structure that we have now, would you rather be the chief of police making 150? Would you rather be the chief of fire making 145? Or would you rather be the chief communications officer making 140? And a lot of them said, well, I'll take the third one because it looks on paper as if there are less responsibilities. But I do appreciate you letting me know that you're adding more responsibilities, because 5 days ago, this job was only $79,000 per year. So when you look at individuals who I represent, you represent, everybody represents, you're like, wait a minute, that's almost a double jump. Let's justify that. Well, as far as this position concerned, I just want to say for the record, it has nothing to do with Ursula Madden at all. It has to do with the position. And it's sometimes difficult where you have to go back to the community and justify particular positions when you got other individuals in city government that also have disparities as well. So I'll close on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Ford. Any other council members seeking recognition on this item? Item 33.
Can I ask you a residency question, Mr. George? No way.
Seeing none, please cast your vote for item 33.
Boyd, yes. Brown, yes. Colvette, yes. Ford, abstained. Fully Love, yes. Hedgepeth, yes. Jones, yes. Morgan, yes. Morrison, yes. Robinson, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Conrad, yes.
The item passes.